Hey, this is Jamie Wolf, and I just wanted to give you guys a quick free lesson today because I watch lots and lots and lots of how-to videos, lots of webinars, lots of instructional sessions. Some are free, some I've paid for, and pretty much everybody does it the same way. But if you've never done it before, maybe you don't know how easy it is. So I wanted to break it down for you just a little bit. This is an example of a first page that people would see. It has some fun pictures that draw your attention in. It's got my logo. It's got a picture of me so you know what I look like. And it's also got information about what it is that the Message Accelerator does. So how would you put this together for yourself? And also, I'm getting ready to go dragon boat paddling, so that's what I'm dressed for, and I'm sitting here with my dogs who are looking out the window and watching butterflies go by, so you never know if they're going to start barking or what's going to happen in the background. I'm not doing this to impress, I'm doing this to teach you. So what you do depends on if you're a Mac person or a PC person, but I'm a Mac person, so I use Keynote. If you're a PC person, you would just use PowerPoint, I presume. But this is software and you can just purchase Keynote, and it's simple and it's easy to use, and I probably don't do half with it what it's possible to do with it. But you just want to go ahead and get Keynote or use PowerPoint if you want to make a presentation. So that's step one. And then step two would be you need to record the sound, and you can just use earbuds and record it that way. The longer you talk, the longer it goes. The less you want to pick up background noise, the better quality sound you want, the more you want to have a decent microphone. This is really middle of the road microphone. This is a $70 microphone, but on this website, Blue Designs, you can get all sorts of different microphones, and it'll show you what the purpose of them is. If you're recording a lot of music, or depending on what you do, you can certainly get higher quality microphones. The idea is to have decent enough sound that you're not driving someone away because they can't stand listening to the static or not being able to pick up everything that you're saying. And then the last thing is you need something to record. I'm using ScreenFlow. If you're not on a Mac, you'd use Camtasia. They keep updating the versions. I have an older version than ScreenFlow 8. Again, I don't use anywhere near all the features and tools. I haven't bothered to learn how to do it all, but it is here for you, and it's super simple to use. So if you wanted to take the information that you have created and teach somebody else how to do it, what would you do? You would open up Keynote, which I've done. You could create a brand new presentation and simply pick something here. Once you create it one time, you simply open it again and use it over and over and over. So for instance, you can take the file, you can duplicate the file, and see it just hopped over and gave you a copy, and then you could save that with a new name and go ahead and use all these slides again and just change the content in the middle, so you don't ever have to change all this extra stuff once you've done it one time. The other thing you can do is you can simply highlight a slide and hit Control and right click. Again, this is for a Mac, so it may be a little different on a PC, and duplicate the slide, and then you've got all of this stuff already created for you, and all you're going to do is come in here and type something different, but it's already formatted for you. Now, how do you actually go about formatting something like this? So let me come here and hit Control, right click, and I'm going to say New Slide. So you can see here that this is just a completely blank slide. And now I want to format it. There's a couple different ways you can get to formatting. You can come up here to the right-hand corner and click Format, and this gives you a whole bunch of stuff to do. If you don't want to go to it that way, you can come up here to View and you can come to inspector and you can drop down to show inspector and it brings it back. And if you want to hide it, you come up here to view, you click inspector, you go hide inspector. And the last way to do this is to hit Option, Command, and the letter I, and it brings it on board. Option, Command, and the letter I, and it makes it go away. But by far the simplest is just to hit Format. And so if you hit Format and you're within a text box, it lets you create all sorts of text. But I want to create the thing that you saw down at the bottom where I've branded this slide. If you're just getting started, I don't want you to spend a whole ton of money branding or creating websites or any of that. What you want to do is simply take content you've already created if you've published a book, and you want to parse it out and share what you know or what experience you've been through with your audience so that they can benefit from what you've learned, and you want to share with them so that they're receiving their hope and their inspiration and shortcuts, hopefully, to get to wherever it is that they want to go, that you've already done that journey, and so now you're going to show them how. You can create your own logo. You can use any picture of yourself that you have and put it there. You could certainly hire professional photographers, but you don't have to. And you could go to Fiverr or Upworks or any other place to 99 Designs to get a logo created, or you could do it yourself. Because in the beginning, what's most important is to get yourself out in front of your audience and be giving them content of value. So let's go ahead and just walk through it. I want to put a shape on this picture. Actually, let me back up. In order to see the whole entire slide, I'm going to shrink it down to 25% so I can see the whole thing. So I'm going to add a shape, and let's see, do I have a rectangle? I don't know. I'll just put the square here. I'm going to slide it down to the bottom of the page. I'm going to make it a little taller. I'm going to stretch it out so it reaches across the whole page. All right, so I've got my little bottom banner there. Now that doesn't look exactly like what I have there, does it? So let's play with it a little bit. I don't need it to have a shadow. I didn't know that it did. I don't need it to have a border, but I would like it to have some fill. I'd like to be able to play with the fill. Let's do a color gradient. So I'm going to have white on the bottom and blue down here. Does that look about like what I've got there? It looks almost identical to what I've got down there. So, you know, you can change whatever colors that you want. You can make it any one of these different colors. So if blue is not a branded color for you, then pick a different color. But for me, that's what I wanted to do. All right, so then the next thing I wanted to do was add in some media. So I'm going to go ahead and choose. I have a file already. It has what I call my cropped logo. So it has now put that on the page, and I'm just going to slide and drag it over here. And again, you can change the size of this a little bit more to give yourself a little bit more space. And you can just drag it around and do whatever you want with it. Then the next thing I have is a picture of myself. So you might want to put a picture of yourself. So while you're speaking, someone can see you. All right, so I just open a file, find the picture that I want, select it, hit insert. Obviously that's huge, so we'll shrink it down. Let's see, we want to make it about the same size as the other piece there. So we make it super small, and we drag it over here to the right, and I'm not sure where my video is right now, so it might be covering this. I'm not quite sure. But at any rate, you'll see that the video is, or the picture is over here. And then I wanted to add text, so I just click on text and it's overlaid that other thing. So I drag it down and I'm just going to copy and paste. But this would be your tagline. So I just hit Command C to copy. Obviously you could come up here and hit copy that way. And then I'll bring it over here and I'll Command V to paste it. Grab the box and drag it. And you can see when I drag it that that yellow line appears in the vertically in the middle when I have it centered. So if I want the text centered, I'm going to shrink that down a little bit so it's not so awful or off balance. That would be a better way to say that. Come back over here to the inspector and see what I have. So I have the font as Lato, L-A-T-O, and it's in 43 point, and that's what I have used consistently on everything. And because I copied and pasted, it saved that, it saved the color. So just to let you know, you can change the color, you can change the font, you can change, you know, whether it's regular or italic or bold or underline, you can change the size, you can change the alignment and the spacing. So all of that is there for you. Now, there's two ways to put the text on the picture. You can just type. And I don't want this extra box, so I'm going to highlight it and then just make it go away. Or there's another way. If you've already got content and you don't want to have to sit there and manually type it in over and over again, let me show you a different way to do it. Using Google Drive is the easiest way to save anything or everything. That way, if your computer crashes for some reason, you're not going to lose everything you've done. So let's say you have your ebook or your draft of your book or something in a Google Doc. So in my Google Doc, I'm simply going to highlight, Control C to copy. I'm going to jump back over to my Keynote page. I'm going to hit this text button so that I have a text box. I'm going to put my cursor in the middle of it. I'm going to copy and paste, excuse me, just paste, so Control V. And then I'm going to choose the font. I want it in Lato. I'm going to choose the size. And you can see as it's getting bigger, it's sliding off the screen. So if I take my cursor outside the text box and then I jump back in, it's giving me the outlines of the text, and then I can click it and simply drag it. And again, these yellow lines tell me when I'm in the middle. So that's the middle that way, and that's the middle that way. And now I'm completely centered with it. I'm going to highlight it again. I tend to make everything 85 points. See if it'll let us get rid of the extras zeros there. Great. Okay. So now you've taken what you already had somewhere else and you copied and pasted. So let's do it again. And for whatever reason, I like it to be just a little higher on your eyes. So I'm going to come over to this slide. I'm going to duplicate the slide, and we've got it all set up now. So I'm going to jump back over to my Google Doc. I'm going to pick the next things that we're going to talk about, or the next content that you've written, and bring it back over here. So we're going to go up to 85 if that will fit on this page. You know what, I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of this because that's obviously not going to fit there. Let's keep going on the size. There's 85. We're going to fit it into the middle. Okay, not so much. Now, when you want to come down here to the bullets, let's say no bullets. And perhaps let's see if we can get rid of that space. I want bullets there. And let's say I want simply lettered. How about that? So this is where you can change how the bullets go. None, or an image, or lettered, or numbered. Easy peasy. So at any rate, that's all. That's how you create content. That is how you go use Keynote or PowerPoint. You take content you've already written in a document somewhere, you copy and paste, you put it into a slide. You can very easily brand your slide yourself. That took about 5 minutes. I created the logo myself. I had a picture saved already. This is the information that I want to have people have fresh in their mind every time they think about the Message Accelerator. So that's just down at the bottom. I showed you how to put the color behind it. I showed you how to pick your font and all that sort of stuff. And you're done. And you just keep creating slide after slide after slide. And then you know how to record with your microphone, and you know how to record with the video, and then you just save it and share it. And the next step, obviously, once you have a video, if you're not doing this live, then you would want to save it to YouTube and just upload it to your page. And we'll go through that some other time, how to save a video if you don't know how to do that already. Again, if you are a creative and an author and you're not particularly technical, don't worry about it, neither am I. And yet it is possible, once you learn how to do this, to just do it over and over again. Hope you found that helpful. Maybe it was too simplistic because you know how to do this already, but just in case you didn't know how to do this already, it is not hard, it is just new. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. Thanks a lot. This is Jamie Wolf with the Message Accelerator. Bye.